All right, so I'm back for another round of my weekly picks, and week 10 was only okay and barely that. Even 7-7, picking the winner straight up, 8-6 against the spread, so not a great performance. Season to date, 86-50, picking the winner straight up, and 80-56 against the spread. Again, okay, but certainly not anything special here. And for as little time as I actually spent thinking about these picks, I guess it's okay. I don't really fucking know. I don't care. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about it. You had the matchup on Thursday night, Commanders and Eagles. Maybe the luster's coming off the Commanders just a little bit. It didn't look that great against the Eagles on Thursday night, that's for sure. Jaden Daniels didn't have his best performance, but there you go. Eagles won. Da da da. In terms of the early Sunday matchups, I will start with the Packers traveling to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. I mean, come on. Who the fuck do you think I would pick in this matchup? And you're going to look at the Bears shirt, and you're going to look at me, and you're going to say, well, of course you would pick the fucking Bears. On what fucking planet would I do that? Why in the hell would I do that? What type of moron would do that, frankly? I would question, like, the sanity of bettors. Green Bay's only favored by 5.5? You mean there are that many people that are uncertain enough about a Packers victory? Are we actually having dumb dicks lay money on the Bears here? The fuck is going on? Who sets these odds and who's putting the money down where the hell they put their money down? You gotta be drunk. Like the Packers have beat the Bears 10 straight times. They're like 50-17 against them since the start of 1990. The Bears are 4-5 after losing their last three. They just got boat raced at home by the fucking Patriots. The Patriots. And swapping out one shitty offensive coordinator for a former failed offensive coordinator isn't the magic formula to turn all these things around. Eberflus sucks as a head coach. This roster is overrated. They don't give a fuck. Like, come on. Green Bay minus 5.5 all fucking day. You're nuts if you pick the Bears here. There's absolutely no reason to do that whatsoever. I could probably say the same thing about the next one. It's like the Jags taking on the Lions in Detroit. The Lions look like the team to beat in the NFC right now, and the Jags look like they're kind of playing out the string until Doug Peterson gets fired. However, I will say this in Jacksonville's defense. Their defense kind of showed up when they played the Vikings. And they had a shot in that one. They didn't look any good or anything overall, but they had a shot in that one. So I don't have a doubt about Detroit winning this one. The 13.5 point spread kind of concerns me a little bit. And maybe there's a piece of this is an opportunity for a letdown game coming off a big Sunday night matchup against Houston. Detroit could feel a little lackadaisical, although I don't get that sense of a Dan Campbell coach team. They would do that, but it is always certainly possible. It's human nature. You can't always be sharp as an edge at all times. So give me Detroit to win, but with that 13.5 point spread, give me the Jags to cover here. I don't care who's starting the quarterback, what have you. You've got the the Vikings traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. I'll take the Vikings minus the 6, although their performance against the Jags last week does leave a little bit of concern here when you look at the spread. You got the Raiders traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Ooh, another stinker of a matchup. Dolphins favored by 7.5. I like the Dolphins to win this one, and I guess give me the Raiders to cover the 7.5. I don't even know why I'm doing that. You got the Rams traveling to New England to take on the Patriots. Drake May, I will say this for Patriots fans, like you've got some reason for hope there. He looked pretty solid last week against the Bears. He looked like the guy that was the number one overall pick of the draft. It certainly wasn't fucking Caleb Williams. Imagine if Drake May actually had an offensive line to protect him and he had some weapons to throw to in the passing game. You might have something there in New England. But you got Matthew Stafford versus Drake May. This is one of these ones that looks on the surface like it's nothing special, but it could end up being a really good one. But I'll take the Rams minus the 4.5. Another stinker though this week probably feels like it's going to be Browns and Saints. Woof on this one. Although if Jameis is starting, like he could be looking for some revenge here. This is one of these ones you're like, if you bought tickets for this one, why are you a sadist? Why would you do that to yourself? Um, and if you're CBS or Fox, whoever has this game, like, why the hell would you force anybody to watch this, even in those local markets. Tell them to go out and enjoy their Sunday. Well, maybe you would show it in Cleveland because, after all, Cleveland is a shithole city. There's nothing to fucking do there. Nobody cares about Cleveland. Nobody likes Cleveland. Even the people that live in Cleveland that pretend like Cleveland is great know deep down that's just projection and defense mechanisms because they know that's a shitty city that smells like shit and nobody wants to fucking be there. And the only thing great about when you get to Cleveland, when you don't live there, is that you know your countdown clock has begun to when you can leave smelly ass Cleveland. But you know what? For all that ripping on Cleveland, which is always fun to do, by the way, give me the Browns plus the one because why the fuck not? Nobody cares about this game anyways. You've got Anthony Richardson coming back into the starting lineup for the Colts because that made a whole lot of fucking sense. Oh, we're going to start Joe Flacco now. We're going to do it for the season until we don't. Oh, so fucking stupid. And they're traveling to take on the Jets who, like, of course, this season hasn't gone well for them. Like, did they think they were going to get an MVP version of Aaron Rodgers coming off the Achilles? Come on, man. I'll take the Jets minus the 4 here, but again, another matchup I'm like, who the fuck cares? Like, this early slate of games on Sunday pretty much sucks. Outside of, you've got the kind of AFC North rivalry. It's a big one. It's one of the best rivalries in the game. It's the Ravens traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, a battle of the clear top 2 teams in the AFC North. Like, this should be a really good one. Russ has seemed to find his footing a little bit for Pittsburgh, and they've responded pretty well. Their defense is playing well. And then you look at the Ravens with Lamar, with Derrick Henry. Like, they've got something really nice there. Lamar potentially chasing down a 3rd MVP award. This could be a really fun one. And this would be one I would actually want to watch. But I'm an idiot, and I'm going to watch the Packers and Bears game instead because I'm an idiot. Now I'll have one TV on the Packers-Bears game, and I'm sure I'll eye hustle the Ravens-Steelers matchup plenty. But expect that one to be a really good one, as they typically are. Give me the Ravens minus the 3. Although this always screams out the type of matchup is once you get that 3-point spread or more, you get really concerned because these are always the games that are won by a point or 2 points, it feels like. When you switch over to the late Sunday afternoon matchups, you got the Falcons traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 2. I'll take Atlanta plus the 2 here. You've got the Seahawks traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Maybe the 49ers are starting to get a little bit of a rhythm there. Meanwhile, they easily beat the Seahawks both times they faced them last year. I like the 49ers in this one, but I'll take Seattle to cover the 6.5-point spread. Your really marquee matchup of the late Sunday afternoon matchups. This is the big one. It's the undefeated Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes going to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills. And, you know, when you look at the Chiefs, it's kind of been like a survive and advance almost type of mindset and mentality for them so far this season. I don't really think they've played pretty football. I don't even know that they've always played good football, but they are finding ways to win games. That's what good teams do, right? But at some point in time, you want them to play like a wow team, right? Meanwhile, for the Bills, you know, maybe it's been a bit of addition by subtraction there, but they're playing some pretty good football. And boy, this just screams out Buffalo hands Kansas City their first loss of the season, doesn't it? Yeah, give me Buffalo minus the 2 here. That could be a really fun one. Another Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen showdown. Like, this could be a big one. And if Buffalo wants to have any aspirations, any thoughts, any hopes of potentially having home field advantage in the AFC playoffs, they must win this one. Because if they don't, now you've got the Chiefs undefeated and they've just beaten you. Like, it feels like at that point, it's most likely that the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC will go through Arrowhead. The Sunday night matchup can be sneaky good. You've got the Bengals and Joe Burrow traveling to Los Angeles to take on Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, and the Chargers. Big game here for both teams. The Bengals at 4-6. They badly need to win this one. Just getting your 7th loss now puts you in a really bad spot if you're trying to get into the playoffs. And they need to beat a good team. Meanwhile, the Chargers, sitting there at 6-3, whatever the fuck they are, like they've gotten off to a good start, but they've mostly beaten scrub teams. And you could say, well, the Bengals are a scrub team, but yeah, they're a scrub team that can put up some real points and cause you some real problems, so they feel a little different than some of the other teams the Chargers have beat. They need to make a statement here, the Chargers do in prime time, and show like their high-end defense can make big plays against Burrow and Chase and everybody, and then Justin Herbert can make big plays in the passing game in this offense. Could be a fun one. Chargers are favored by 1.5. I'll take the Bengals here in the upset. Give me Cincinnati plus the 1.5. And then the Monday night matchup, which probably looked a lot better on paper when the schedule makers made it. You've got an all-Texas showdown. You've got the Texans traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. I mean, come the fuck on. Of course, the Cowboys always have to be featured in the fucking primetime spot, even when they don't deserve it. And believe me, this year they don't fucking deserve it. They're bad. It's only getting worse. The countdown for Mike McCarthy being gone has started. The countdown for Dion and Shador coming to Dallas has begun. Give me the Texans minus the 7.5.